Hello students, welcome to the accountancy class. Today we will discuss about the accounting concepts and conventions. Of course, these accounting concepts and conventions are said to be the basic foundation of the accounting system. So one must understand and one must have a knowledge about the concepts and conventions of accounting system, because without the knowledge of these concepts and conventions, the accounting cannot be prepared, or while practicing the accountancy with the knowledge of concepts and conventions, we should prepare them. If we are ignoring these rules, if you are ignoring and neglecting or unaware about the concepts and conventions, sometimes there may be errors, mistakes and fraudulent activities or manipulations in the accounts. So we must understand what are the accounting concepts and what are the accounting conventions. Yes, accounting concepts are the basic ideas, they are the basic rules, they are the basic conditions, they are the generally accepted accounting principles. While practicing the accountancy, we must adopt these basic rules while recording the business transactions. It means throughout the year, it means from the day 1 until the last day of accounting year, we must adopt and we must follow these the general rules, these the basic what I can say, the conditions while recording the business transactions. So therefore these basic concepts are called the life giving oxygen to the accounting. Okay, yes, there are 10 accounting concepts, we must follow them necessarily. And other part of accounting system is convention. So conventions are nothing but they are the traditional followings, they are the customs, they are the past experiences. It means to maintain the accounting system and to follow the final accounts uniformity. See, these conventions are must. So it means the conventions are also the rules, but they should be adopted only one time, when the final statements of accounts or final accounts like a trading account, profit and loss account and balance sheet are prepared. On that day only or end of each year, these conventions should be followed. So just these conventions and the concepts are directing the accountant, they are instructing the accountant that these conventions and concepts are must to maintain the uniformity in the accounting system. Okay, you may go to outside country or may stay here, in throughout the world the accounting preparation and accounting method, accounting rules, accounting systems and procedures must be same. So to follow the simple procedures or to follow the uniformity and to follow a simple framework of the accounting, these concepts and conventions are must. Okay, let us go what are the concepts of account and what are the conventions of account. We may say the basic rules and we may say basic customs. Okay, there are 10 accounting concepts. Say first one is business entity concept, second is money measurement concept, third one is ongoing concern concept, fourth one is dual aspect concept, fifth one is accrual concept, sixth one is cost concept, seventh one is realization concept, eighth one is matching concept, Say ninth one is accounting periodic concept, and the 10th one is objective evidence concept. Okay, and the other part is accounting conventions. There are only 4 accounting conventions. Say first one is convention of conservatism. Second is convention of materiality. Third one is convention of consistency. Fourth one is convention of full disclosure. Okay, I repeat, these concepts must be followed while recording each and every business transaction from first day of beginning of the accounting year till the last day of accounting year. These conventions should be followed only at the time of preparation of financial statements, or only at the time of preparation of the final accounts. These traditions we must adopt and follow. Okay, let us discuss one by one what is the meaning of the different concepts and how they are going to be applied. Okay, the first one is business entity concept. According to this concept, it clears, it elaborates, or it explains very clearly that the business and the owners are separate from each other. They are not both at all. The business is quite different from that of the partner, from that of shareholder, from that of a proprietor. It means proprietor is separate, owners are separate, and the business is separate. Whenever the investment is made by owner, we must distinguish the owner capital separately and business as a separate. It means even though the owner is investing into the business, business is owing some amount to the other person, and capital account is also treated as a liability of the business. So in this way, it is stated that according to this concept, business is separate, owners are separate. They are not same. So based on this assumption or based on this rule, the partner capital, the partner drawings must be mentioned. Business expenses and business incomes must be recorded. Even though I am the owner of the business, if I am interested, I can record. If I am not interested, I cannot record. So like this way, owner cannot think. He should record whenever he invests. He should record whenever he takes back the money from the business. Okay. The second one is money measurement concept. This concept explains only economic business transactions must be recorded. It means if the money is going to affect today or tomorrow, only the money's worth business transactions must be recorded. If any transactions which are not affecting the money today or in future, we cannot record. Say for example, certain incidences, certain stories, or certain non-business transactions, so we cannot record them. Yes, only the relating or only relevant business and only the transactions which are measurable economically or money we should record. Say for example, taking orders we cannot record, placing an order we cannot record, exchange of money, say taking currency and exchanging in coins, and taking coins and exchanging in notes or currency. So these are not at all the business transactions. Say purchase of goods, sale of goods, purchase of assets, sale of assets, say any expenses paid or payable, any incomes issued or receivable. So these are the only transactions we should record. Okay, say stories, say rain coming, rain going, and some political changes are occurring, and due to heavy rain, say there is a loss to the country. So these are not at all the business transactions. So these transactions will not have any place in the books of accounts. So therefore, this concept explains record only relevant business transactions which are measurable in money or money's worth. Okay, the third is ongoing concern concept. Say ongoing concern concept means business will run for long period. This concept explains business will be in existence for uncertain days. It means today business is established, tomorrow itself business will conclude. So this concept is not existed at all. So always we should think, always the owner should pursue, or always owner should understand that his business will be in existence for uncertain period. Okay, it will run for a long period. There is a long life to the business. If he thought like this, he can render good service, he can produce goods, and he can do business. If he thinks today business established, tomorrow it will conclude, so he cannot do any business activities. Okay, he should keep in his mind that our business will be in existence, our business is having a long perpetual period, so I can sell goods, I can involve in the innovation activities, I can use technology, I can sell goods on credit, I can sell goods say on certain future basis. So this concept explains the business will have a long life. Okay, the other one is dual aspect concept. This concept very clearly explains that each and every business transaction should have two effects and should be recorded in two times. Say one time on debit side, second time on credit side. If you record only one time, if you record only on one side, it will be wrong. Okay, and this concept is telling based on the double entry bookkeeping system, based on the double entry principle, the each and every economic and business transaction should be bifurcated into two. One is debit effect, another one is credit effect. So debit aspect should be recorded one account and credit aspect should be recorded another account. So this is called dual aspect concept. Always you should record the business transaction in two effects or in two sides called as twofold aspect. Okay, debit side as well as credit side. Yes, the other one is accrual concept. Accrual is also called as the mercantile concept, or simply you can say credit concept. Say according to this concept, the business transactions should be recorded on two bases. One is on credit base and the one is on cash base. Even though the incomes not issued, even though expenses not paid, we must record them, because business will not run only on cash basis. If you keep your books of accounts only on cash base, if you are doing business only on cash, say your business may have lesser turnover and there may be less profit, and your business may not be alive for long period. If you want to be alive in the market for a long period, we must offer credit facility. So that is inevitable in the today's business, in the today's world. The purchasing of goods on credit, selling of goods on credit is inevitable and is necessary. Okay, this concept explains even though the expenses not paid, they are payable. Even though the incomes not issued, they are receivable, we must record. Okay, if any, of course I told you the business transactions means the money should be affected today or tomorrow. Okay, if any benefit issued, if any service rendered on credit basis, we must record in the books of accounts. Cash transactions as well as credit transactions we must record. Say since cash not issued, it will be issued next year, I cannot record now, so this is wrong. Of course, if they are receivable, we should record. If they are payable, we should record. Okay, we should record always two items. One is cash item, cash transaction, another one is credit transaction. So this is called accrual concept. Okay, the another one is cost concept. This concept explains that only fixed assets. I repeat, this concept explains only fixed assets. Say for example, land, building, plant, machinery, okay, furnitures, fittings, vehicles, railway trackings. So these fixed assets must be recorded in the books of accounts at the cost of purchase, at the cost at which they are acquired, called as acquired value. We should show in the books of accounts, subject to changes, like if any depreciations, if any appreciations, if any part of asset is sold, only we should record. If there is no depreciation, if there is no any appreciation, we should always show the fixed assets at the original cost only. Original cost means the cost at which they are purchased, or purchased value only we should show. If there are any depreciation, just we should deduct them. And the present value or the fair market value or any say reliable value we cannot show. So this is opposite to the concept. Okay, only fixed asset, not the current assets and not the other assets. Only fixed assets we should show at the original cost of asset. Okay, the other one is realization concept. This concept or rule explains that the revenues, only revenues or incomes we should mention or show in the books of accounts whenever they are realized. Realized means sold. Whenever they are sold, we should record. Until unless they are not sold, we cannot record them. If they are sold, we should record. It means we cannot anticipate any income. You cannot expect any income. You cannot forecast the incomes. So there is no place for the forecast of incomes. There is no place for the future incomes. Incomes should be recorded only when they are sold, only when they are realized. If they are issued, we should record. If they are not issued, don't record. Okay, this is realization concept. Don't anticipate any incomes. Okay, next one is matching concept. Say matching concept explains the incomes and expenses should be matched in such a way that the revenue incomes and the revenue expenses should be classified separately. The capital expenses and capital incomes should be bifurcated separately. So this concept gives an idea that only revenue expenses should be deducted from the revenue incomes. Revenue expenses should be deducted from the revenue incomes, and capital expenses should be deducted from the capital incomes. So like this way, the expenses and incomes should be classified into two types. One is revenue expenses, capital expenses, revenue incomes and capital incomes. In preparation of the profit and loss account or in preparation of the balance sheet, we must adopt this rule. Okay, say at the time of classifying the account, like real accounts, nominal accounts and personal account, we should always remember this rule. It means the revenue incomes, means regular incomes should be recorded at one side and regular income should be recorded another side, and the regular expenses should be deducted from the regular incomes. Irregular incomes cannot be added to the regular incomes. Irregular expenses cannot be deducted from the regular incomes. So therefore the regular incomes should be matched. Irregular incomes and irregular expenses should be matched at one place. So this is called the matching concept. And the other one is periodic concept. So it is also called as accounting periodic concept. According to this concept, the accounting period should be always 12 months. It means account should be prepared for a particular 12 months only. Say commencing 1st January, the ending date should be 31st December. If the accounts are started on 1st April, the account should be closed on 31st March. If accounts are started say 1st November, they must be closed 31st October. So like this way, there must be a particular accounting period. So 12 months. Always there should consist 12 months. And one more concept is the expenses and incomes for the particular period should be considered. Okay, even though they are not received, even though they are not paid, if they are receivable, if they are payable, so we should consider the particular revenue incomes and revenue expenses for the particular only. If we follow this rule, then only the accurate profit and accurate loss is going to be determined. Otherwise, the exact profit for the year, exact loss for the year is unable to prepare it or determine it. So therefore, the accounting periodic concept tells that say account should be prepared for the particular 12 months and all the regular and irregular expenses, regular incomes and irregular incomes or expenses should be considered and they should be accounted and they should be recorded in the proper books of accounts. Okay. The last one, 10th concept is objective evidence concept. See, this concept explains the each and every business transaction should be recorded in the particular books of accounts if they are provided the evidences, if they are provided any supports. It means the business transactions should be supported with the papers, documents, vouchers, bills or tax invoices. There must be something to record the business transaction. If there is no record, if there is no evidence, if there is no any document, if there is no any paper, so there is no place to record. Okay, the business transaction should be recorded with proper evidences. And again, the evidences should be reliable one. Say they cannot be overcasted, they cannot be undercasted. It means the evidences, the vouchers, the proofs must be accurate one. They cannot be manipulated. They cannot be prepared through computers by a proprietor himself. They should be really actually obtained from the seller. Okay, it means the documents and the vouchers or the evidences and proofs must be genuine. If they are real, they are genuine. According to such bills, we should record. If there is no bill, if there is no evidence, if there is no proof, we cannot record such business transactions. Okay, you cannot record the business transactions based on your assumptions. Say there is no place for the assumed value or assumptions. Okay, this is the evidence concept. So these 10 the basic rule or these 10 basic principles or the concepts one must follow or accountant must follow throughout the accounting journey, throughout the year. Let us move on to the conventions. What is the meaning of conventions? I told already, conventions are nothing but the traditions. They are the past year experiences. Okay, the customs. So we must follow them in maintaining the uniformity in the financial statements. And these customs or these conventions we must follow only once in a year, that too at the end of each year. Okay, the first convention is convention of conservatism. Convention of conservatism means the closing stock. Closing stock means unsold goods at the end of year must be valued either the market value or the cost of purchase, whichever is lower or whichever is less. So this rule should be adopted while preparing the balance sheet. And the second one is, do not anticipate the incomes, you can anticipate only the expenses. So this is called convention of conservatism. Conservatism means making misery in incomes. You cannot anticipate the incomes. Of course, you can expect, you can anticipate expenses. Say, we can anticipate the future losses. We can anticipate the future expenses. We can anticipate the future uncertainties, keeping uncertainties, keeping future incomes. Say, the expenses may be incurred. For example, advertisement, for example, insurance, say, for example, some other fire insurance. These expenses, the advertisement expenses, are expected to earn the future incomes, but we cannot anticipate incomes right now, and there is no place for the uncertain incomes. So, according to the realization concept, only when they are realized we should record. But the same rule is not applied for the expenses. You can expect the loss, you can expect the damage, you can expect the uncertainties of expenses. If there is a future liability, if there is a future expenses, okay, keeping these future uncertain expenses, you may pay certain expenses. There is a place, but we should make measure in case of incomes. So this is called convention of conservatism. I repeat, according to this convention, the closing stock should be valued either the market value or the cost of purchase of the stock, whichever is less should be taken in the balance sheet. And again, expenses may be recorded on uncertainty, but incomes cannot be anticipated. Okay, the second convention is materiality, convention of materiality. According to this convention, in the balance sheet, only in the balance sheet, the important, the significant, okay, very important items should be mentioned in balance sheet. See, small piece of items, say negligible items, or say some items which are very teeny, very small, they cannot be shown in the balance sheet. Only the sum value, only the total or agreed value of the major items should be shown in the balance sheet. I repeat, according to this convention, the very important, very significant items should be shown in the balance sheet. Say, for example, land and building. If a proprietor is having 10 buildings, if a proprietor is owner of 20-acre land, and again 20-acre land are purchased in different places, 10 buildings located at different places. So in balance sheet, we cannot show building at Gadag, building at Ranebennur, building at Delhi, building at Chennai. You cannot show like this. So only important, what is material, what is the aggregate value of building, we should show in the balance sheet. Say another example like closing stock. Say a proprietor may have different types of goods. If he is a trader in home appliances, say there are unsold goods of TVs, there are unsold goods of like fridge, washing machine, and there are different categories of washing machines. So say different say number of items are unsold. So you cannot show in the balance sheet say 20 unsold TVs, say 10 unsold TVs, or 20-inch unsold TVs. So like this, you are not allowed to show the value of assets in the balance sheet like this way. Say we should show only closing stock. Okay. For example, another one is debtors. Debtors means amounts receivable from the different customers. If any amount receivable from 2 or 4 members or 10 members, so all 10 members owings cannot be shown in the balance sheet. What is the total amount receivable from the 10 members? We should show only sundry creditors one amount. So like this way, very important and significant items and amount should show in the balance sheet. So not the small items. Okay, the other reason, the convention of consistency. consistency means stability. Stability. Say this convention tells that there must be stability in method, there must be stability in principle, there must be stability in percentage. Okay, say for example, what the accounting period you followed in the last year, the same accounting year should be followed this year. What method of depreciation you followed last year, the same method of depreciation should follow. What percentage of depreciation you followed last year, the same percentage of depreciation should follow. So what system of accounting you followed last year, the same accounting system we must follow this year. So this is tradition. It means you cannot change again and again. Say for example, last year adopted depreciation straight away, this year you are adopting diminishing balance. So this is not possible. If you want to adopt this method, so it is not possible. If you want to adopt unnecessarily, so the income tax officer, the assessing officer may question you, and you must explain with a good reason. If there is a proper reason, if there is a good reason, you can of course change it. But again, with next year, you are not allowed to change it. Say for example, last year I am following the double entry system. This year also we should do the prepare accounts at double value or double bookkeeping only. Say if you want to change the bookkeeping from double entry to single entry, so assessing officer, income tax officer will not allow you. And if you follow like this way, this is wrong. So this is not the method of, or this is not the way of maintaining the books of accounts. Okay, like this way, so we should follow. It means that there must be a stability, there must be a consistency in accounting system, there must be a stability or consistency in accounting period, there must be stability in depreciation method, there must be a stability in depreciation percentage. So there must be a same tradition. What a tradition we adopted last year, this also should adopt the same method. Okay, the last one is convention of full disclosure. Full disclosure means each and every information relating to assets, relating to liabilities, relating to expenses, relating to incomes, we must prepare and we must enclose to the financial statements. Say for example, sales. In the profit and loss account, credit side, sales rupees 1 crore is shown. So what are the goods you sold, at what value you have sold, so during the year how many goods you sold. Okay, the value or the total information about the sales must be enclosed to the profit and loss account. Say for example, electricity bill. Say in the profit and loss account debit side, electricity bill 12,000 amount is debited. So this is of course we should show only the important item in the P&L account. But how 12,000 is extracted? How 12,000 comes? So is it electricity bill for 1 month? Is it bill for 6 months? Is it bill for 12 months? And what is the detailed information of the electricity bill? Say such detailed information of the electricity bill should be attached to the profit and loss. Say for example, sundry creditors. It means amount receivable from the customers, or sundry creditors, amount payable to the suppliers. Say in the balance sheet will show only what is the amount payable and what is the amount receivable. But in addition to this, the balance sheet should be enclosed with separate schedules or with separate papers. Say who are the parties, who are the customers, what is the amount receivable from such members, who should enclose that sheet. So called as full disclosure convention. Okay, full disclosure convention means the balance sheet and the profit and loss account must be enclosed or must be attached certain papers which must explain the each and every information of expenses, incomes, assets and liabilities. So called convention of full disclosure. Okay, with the basic idea and concepts and conventions only, the accountant may record the books of accounts. It means we must follow these concepts and conventions before to practice accountancy. Yes, thank you.